it is important to have a good framework and a good conceptual understanding of quantifier words because they consistently appear on the LSAT, primarily in logical reasoning, of course. So it is important to have an understanding of what does sum mean, what is the range of possibilities for sum. And so I have an article I can send you. If you email me, I'll send you the link. And I have examples to walk through it. But you do want to know what is none, what is all, and then everything in between, which would be few, some, most, many, and so on. And there are bounded ranges of numbers for each one, or numbers or percentages depending. And it's important really to consider the scope of possibilities. And we have our general everyday life understanding of these words, but on the LSAT, they get a little bit more technical about it. And so you want to know those edge cases. So for example, since you brought up sum, the word sum means at least one, but includes the possibility of all. And my quick example to illustrate this is, let's say that you've eaten one cookie in a box of 100. You could say that you've eaten at least one cookie. Or if you like it, you could say at least one of those cookies was tasty. But we have not yet eaten all of the other 99 cookies in the box, so it's open-ended what is the case for the rest of those cookies. Once you've eaten 51 or 50 and a half or 50 plus a crumb, you can say the majority of the cookies are good and maybe all of them are good. So most includes the possibility of all. Some includes the possibility of all because we have not yet finished the box of cookies and we don't know how the rest of them are going to turn out. It could go either way, but it's still possible for those to have the same characteristic of the one that we already had.
And the test makers, they really play on that.
They do. They do. And so it's about how do we deal with incomplete information. A lot of the LSAT rests on being comfortable with ambiguity and recognizing that we have limited information. We don't yet have a basis upon which to make claims about the entire sum of possibilities because we haven't been there yet. So just to know that to avoid being too certain. It's kind of like there's that saying that the fool thinks he's wise and the wise man thinks he's a fool. It's kind of like on the LSAT, the better you get at it, the more you realize how little you know and how little you can conclude on the basis of the information you have in front of you. Like, we don't yet know everything. We only know what we have on the basis of the evidence thus far. And so some includes the possibility of all, most includes the possibility of all, but we can't yet go there. That's really how I think about it. The other thing to be aware of with quantifiers is that everything except the word all is not a conditional. Like, most x's are y's does not mean x requires y. It means most x's are y's. It does not lend itself to clean, smooth diagramming. And so they have a way of diagramming this. I don't love it. I prefer to just not diagram it at all, period. And so you just have to really just engage with it and use your understanding of the quantifier words to help you there. But two most, how do they overlap? Well, two majorities means that's 51% plus 51% approximately. That adds to over 100, so there will be at least one with the possibility that contains both of those possibilities, both of those characteristics. That's really as far as you go with it ultimately, though. Yeah, it is very hard. It is very hard, and there aren't that many questions that it relates to, so I wouldn't overly obsess about it. I would focus on the most common things first, but for a top score, you do want to get there on this also.